Yeah, good morning to everyone. Adebanji, Adekanmi, Akinkunmi, Ayokunle, Dowu, Ayomikun, Odunaike, Biodun, Ethel, Maria. Pardon me if I didn't mention your name, Madam Onaji, RM Specha. It's been quite a long time. I saw you on board. You're welcome again. And Sophia, Vincent, and every other. Mr. Sonny Chooks, been a very long time too. Good to see you this morning. All right. Today is Wednesday, the 29th of September, 2025. All right, welcome everyone on board. Like I said, today is Wednesday, 29th of September. Sorry, 29th of October, pardon me. And today we have quite a number of fundamental events in the market. Some already took place, in the course of the night, Nigerian time. And we're still expecting some again in the course of the day. So earlier in the night, Nigerian time, 1:30 a.m., CPI from Australia took place, and 5:05 RBNZ Governor Okesley gave a speech. Now, the next fundamental event will come up in the afternoon by 2:45 p.m., and that will be the Bank of Canada monetary policy report, Bank of Canada rate statement, and overnight rates. Now, this is expected to impact upon the Canadian dollar. So, but then in the afternoon session, that will be more handled because it will be closer to the time of the release of the data, and every other event will be much in the afternoon because they're all afternoon analysis session. But then for this morning, I'll just go straight to the chart, and what I'm seeing this morning is the Euro USD. There's a massive volatility across, especially the pound pairs. There's been a lot of volatility across the pound pairs, right from the beginning of the week. I'm just seeing them dropping massively, a lot of weakness across the GBP pairs. But then let's just check the Euro USD because that's what I'm seeing that seems to have a setup for now as we speak. All right, so this is Euro USD. Yesterday, I dropped some during the afternoon session analysis. I analyzed three pairs. I analyzed the Euro USD, the NZD USD, and the Euro AUD. The Euro AUD went exactly according to the plan, and we saw a drop of about 30 pips on the Euro AUD yesterday afternoon analysis session. Yeah, that's it right here. This is a 4 hour. Okay. Okay, so let's just move on from there. So for what I'm seeing now is the Euro USD, because yesterday that Euro USD did not even, instead of going according to plan, what we saw was a retracement. The analysis is still the same. On the 4 hour time frame, we have price on a downtrend, making a series of lower high, and the third one here with a rising wedge. Technically, we expected a breakout to the downside. Now, taking it to 1 hour, we analyze on the higher time frame and we look for entries on the smaller or the lower time frame. Now, yesterday afternoon, instead of the breakout happening from here, what happened was we saw a rejection candle and a retracement back up. But then it's even making it a lot clearer because price ended up forming a double top pattern, which has led to a breakout as we speak. But then we can't trigger an entry immediately because price is also still trading around the neckline region of that double top pattern. And that's why I put the rectangle box. So if a new candle is able to break out below this current level, then we'll see a further bearish movement on the Euro USD. So we're bearish on the Euro USD for today. And if we will use our Fibonacci, if you want to make use of that, let's just say randomly price is triggered from around Fibonacci 50. Fibonacci 7.8 can give as much as 11 pips, and Fibonacci 78.6 can give as much as, let's say, roughly 25 pips. If the volatility is strong and price drops to Fibonacci 100, that can give as much as about 45 pips. So we have between 11 pips and about 45 pips to catch on Euro USD in the course of today. So please watch Euro USD closely. Watch it closely in the course of today because we're expecting that that bearish movement, on the Euro USD. And honestly, that is what I can see this moment. I've checked through most of the other pairs. I'm not seeing clarity as regards the next move of many of them. But then I'm seeing a kind of a reversal candlestick on gold. Now it may not be a complete reversal, possibly a retracement, but then I need to confirm if there's no valid support in the real sense. But I'm trying to see if I can find a psychological level, if that will work. Just a second. Three eight 9000. Okay, okay. I think we found a psychological level, and there's also a previous. All right, so there's a previous resistance tone support, which coincides with the psychological level right there on the 4 hour time frame. All right, so that might give us some bounce. May not be a reversal, maybe just some slight bounce on gold. And on the that's on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, I'm seeing what is looking like an inverse head and shoulder, which might trigger some move to the upside. Gold is volatile, so even if it's just a slight move, it can still give in some very decent pips in terms of profit. All right, so I have the neckline region there. Now we're going to be very cautious with this. We want to wait for price to break out above, with our RSI clearly above 50, and possibly MACD above zero. That will give it more boost if the MACD can cross above zero. So I'll be looking out for these conditions to trigger a buy on gold today. It could happen any moment, maybe this morning, maybe in the next 1 hour or less. It could happen once we can find a new candle breakout above this. This is an inverse head and shoulder forming, at a key level, a support, a resistance on support combined with a psychological level. So that should give you some boost for some upward movement. So we're bullish on the euro on gold, and we're bearish on the euro USD. Now I know you may want to say, oh, but most of the time, euro USD gold, they are, positively correlated. Yeah, I agree. But then there are times when there are exceptions. There are exceptions. Some of these things, they are not a hard and fast rule. There are times when there are exceptions to that, you know. But then my first instrument is the Euro USD. If you are a fan of gold, fine, you trade gold. Otherwise, just stick with the Euro USD. And don't buy Euro USD. I mean, don't sell Euro USD and buy gold at the same time. Just watch the market dynamics also. But those are the directions I have for the two instruments for today. All right, so that's all I have this morning. The market, like I said, I'm seeing a lot of move here and there. We're waiting for stability, before we know the next move. Let me give you an update. This Euro USD card, I've been on this since last week. It was part of my analysis for last week, which is a swing setup. If you followed my analysis last week, it was one of my major analysis for last week, and it's still very much actively running. It's still running. It's still running. It's a swing setup on 4 hour. If you missed the analysis for Monday this week, I tell you, you really missed, because they triggered at least about three of them on the JPY pairs. They triggered, and I posted the update in the groups as far as yesterday afternoon. Yeah, if you remember the setup last week on USD card with a head and shoulder pattern breakout is still going just as analyzed. So please don't miss these sessions, because they are all insightful, giving us tips as regards what will happen in the market. Okay, so that would be all from my end this morning. If you have any question, you can go ahead and type in the comment section. For the benefit of those who are joining us late, we are bearish on the Euro USD, and we are bullish on gold. So if you have any question, you can go ahead and type in the comment section, and I will just respond to you. All right, Fumika is asking me to check AUD card, and Ayomikun, GBPNZD, Maureen, GBPJPY. So let's start. Whichever one I see first out of the three. Show BTC. Okay, so let's roll. Yeah, GBPJPY already, for me, it has done its major move already for the week with the breakout of this rising wedge pattern. It's done its major move for the week already. There's this rising wedge up there on the 4-hour time frame, and that price broke out yesterday. It's done already about 180 pips. So please leave GBPJPY for if you didn't catch that move. It wasn't part of the instruments analyzed, it just broke out on its own. So if you miss that move, please just let it rest, except you are on a running trade. So there is nothing for GPJPY for now until further notice. It's done its major move for the week already. Except price hit the support zone, maybe we may now expect some retracement or we expect further continuation. But for now, it's just let's see price get to some level before we can know the next line of action for GBP or BTC USD. All right, so price hit this level yesterday or second time and closed more or less with what looks like a tweezer top. It's not a perfect one. Normally, it should be the body of the candle should be the same size or close to the same size. So let's just take it as that. A tweezer top is a bearish reversal pattern. So technically, we'll be looking for a further bearish movement on BTC USD. So that's the daily time frame. Let's check what is happening on 4-hour. But then we're finally going to 1 hour. Now on the 4-hour, okay, let me use my line chart tool and let me go down to 1 hour to see some things clearer. Now on the 4-hour, it looks like we were having something that's close to a double top here, but then it's not so clear. But then what is obvious is that this is a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern. But on the other hand, it's looking like price is also trying to form what may look like a head and shoulder, which may lead to a drop. Now we really can't say for sure now because it's not so clear like that. But notwithstanding, let's put those patterns in mind as we see how price will evolve. Even if you decide to draw a trend line, it's not really aligning as expected. Okay, I think I can draw this. So this gives me a rising wedge. So it's possible price may still try to move up, to complete the second shoulder, and we might experience this is what I'm saying, shoulder head, possibly a second shoulder, and then a drop. Now, it's still subjective. It's a 50-50. It may happen that way or not. But what is most important is this. If price breaks out below this minor support on 1 hour, if a new candlestick breaks out below this level, then we'll see a drop on BTC USD. So we're bearish on BTC USD. Don't forget on the daily time frame, it's a tweezer top at a resistance level. On 1 hour, we're having a rising wedge and possibly a head and shoulder. We're still not, we can't confirm whether that is what will happen here or not, but at least we have two major reasons to look for a sell. The tweezer top on the daily, the rising wedge on 1 hour, and let's see how this third pattern evolves, either it evolves as an head and shoulder or not. But like I said, once price breaks out below that minor support zone, we will expect a trigger to the downside on BTC USD. And usual confirmation is RSI below 50 and possibly MACD below 0. And those two are already confirmed. So we're only waiting for the breakout to happen. So we're bearish on BTC USD. So I've attended to GBP, JPY, BTC, USD. Let me check the others again. GBP, NZD, and AUD card. All right. Okay, so this GBP, NZD, like I said, the GBPs are drawing massive. There's a lot of massive bearish movements across board. Okay, so this pair has moved 92 pips already today. This is daily time frame. Anything will happen from here. It's actually a breakout of this rising wedge pattern on the daily time frame. Okay, from a previous bearish engulfing candlestick from the weekly. All right, so that's what is leading to the massive drop. Will it still continue dropping? Possibly, but then we don't make entries on daily time frame, so entering this one is, for me, is a no because it may retrace at any moment. Yes, it may continue or it may retrace. We can't tell, so we don't gamble. So I'd rather just stay out of it, except we see a retracement and maybe we now want to continue further. And if that retracement happens, then we'll have ended up forming either a perfect looking head and shoulder pattern, which will lead to a continuation. So what I would advise you do, if you're not already on the sell on, just wait. Let's see if there's going to be a retracement, then we'll look at how to make entry for a continuation on GBP NZD. Then AUD CAD.
Gold check.
हेलो
Uh,
सर गोल्ड चेक कीजिएगा हेलो सर गोल्ड चेक प्लीज
I'll just wait a little. I'm attending to some of the earlier requests, and that's the AUD CAD. I already analyzed gold. Probably you joined us late. Said we're bullish on gold. But then just a second, let me run through the others.
आई विल चेक दिस XAUSD
I'm just running through to check for AUD CAD. All right, so this is AUD CAD. Our price is actually approaching a resistance level on the weekly time frame. Possibly forming a triple top. Yeah, the week is yet to end, but that's what I'm seeing here. Price is currently trading at a resistance level on the weekly. Let's check the monthly too. Okay, well, we don't have a confluence yet, though it looks like it's getting towards that region. But notwithstanding, with the resistance, we may be expecting some retracement, maybe not a reversal, but some retracement. So let's go down to the daily. And now on the daily, yeah, I think it's a lot clearer now. On the daily, we can see we have a recent high here. So we're having what is forming more like a double top pattern, which might lead to a reversal. All right, so 4 hour, still a valid resistance with this spot. Finally, we take it down to 1. hour. All right, so we should be expecting some, bearish movement on the AUD card, possibly today. Possibly. Oh no, okay, okay. Now you know that in the afternoon today we have some news events from Canada. All right, so that even gives it more validity. All right, if you go to Forex Factory, you can see on Forex Factory we're having card related news events by 2:45 p.m. Nigerian time today. That's the Bank of Canada monetary policy reports, BOC rate statement, and overnight rate. All right, so we expect price uh, to be impacted by this news event. So if the news comes out good for the Canadian dollar, then we will expect, you know, a bearish movement on the AUD card. Now, this will depend largely on the news in the afternoon. So, whatever technical setup I'm putting up here is still dependent on the outcome of the news. But from my outlook, technically, I will hold a bearish outlook on the AUD card. But that will likely be dependent on the news in the afternoon coming out good for the Canadian dollar. So, let's just take notes of that. We're bearish on the AUD card. Okay, so I'll just touch on gold for the benefit of those who joined us late. I said, we've had a massive bearish movement on gold in recent time. Gold was projected by JP Morgan to hit as much as $4,000 per ounce for the second quarter of next year. That's June 2026. But then gold already hit that level and we saw a massive bearish movement. And I said that currently what I'm seeing on gold is an inverse head and shoulder forming. You can see price already trending up just in line with that analysis some minutes ago. And that inverse head and shoulder is largely due to the formation of a resistance turn support on the 4-hour resistance turn support. And also that support level is equally a psychological level. So we have a confluence there. We have a resistance on support psychological level and an inverse head and shoulder. So I'll be looking at a bullish movement on gold if price is able to break out above this neckline region and RSI clearly above 50. And I said I will also prefer MACD to cross above zero just for additional confirmation. So I'm bullish on gold. Funke, you're welcome. Madam Onaji, AUDUSD. All right. Now, AUDUSD, from the weekly outlook, we had a bullish. Okay, so this was even from last week. So price already moved from the last week outlook to the next. We're bullish on this last week. So price has moved up to the resistance on the daily. So it's trading exactly around the resistance zone on the daily time frame. So we're going to be expecting a reversal, I would say in the course of this week, not just today. Expecting some reversal, and I'll give you my update on the US oil also. All right, so this is where AUD is at the moment. We are bearish on the AUD card, so we are similarly, if you see the pattern is just like what we saw on the AUD card. We'll be expecting a reversal on this one too. This is a 1 hour with a rising wedge. We'll be expecting a breakout. It all depends on how the market moves. We may have an outright breakout, or maybe it tries to form a head and shoulder to break out, or anyhow. What is important is that we're expecting a breakout. And don't always forget the confirmation, your RSI below 50. If you are a conservative trader, you may wait for the MACD to cross. But if you're an aggressive trader, you may just trigger your sell once the RSI, has complied below 50. So we're bearish on the AUD USD. Now,
Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome. Now, yesterday when we had the weekly outlook, I gave us my outlook on the US oil. If you watch the video, I said it that price, you know, we started the week with price around this key level on the US oil. This is a support turn resistance zone on the daily time frame. And not only that, we had a descending trend line also, all forming a confluence at this spot here. So if you can go and watch the video again, I said I'm expecting price to drop slightly, but on the big picture, what I'm seeing is possibly an inverse head and shoulder